Hi, I'm getting ready to install the beta of one of the Rev 4.1 beta hosts. I thought I'd video it so you can see what it looks like. I'm going to switch the camera around to the other side here and I'll show you what we've got. It's kind of a Rube Goldberg lab setup, but don't worry, it'll work. Oh crud. Hi, we're getting ready to install a RHV-H 4.1 beta host. And let me show you what we've got here. I've just booted it from a USB stick, and here, right down here, is the host. You can see my Rube Goldberg setup. This box right here is what we're going to call RHV-A, RHEV-A, and you can see the memory stick I have put in it. I just made a copy of the ISO file onto that memory stick, and I've booted it from the memory stick, and here we are right here. So we're just going to go through a anyone who's seen RHEL or Fedora install will know what's going on right away. We're going to just install RHV-H 4.1. So the first thing we do is we select from our boot menu, and into Anaconda we go. Yeah, it always gets that. I don't know what that failure means. Some BIOS thing, I guess. I'm not sure. And it goes through its normal boot mishmashes. Yeah, this video is not going to have much editing, so it's just going to have some rough spots. Here, you'll need to see this. If you run into trouble, keep those instructions in mind. This is true for any Anaconda install. Especially the F2 console, where you can get to a shell and do some troubleshooting things if you need to. Now there are a few differences on the RHV-H install than normal RHEL Anaconda, especially around formatting and partitioning. You just want to do default partitions everywhere. Hopefully I can remember that without looking too ugly here. So English and US English, because we're in America, we're in Minnesota, and yeah, sure, but we speak Minnesotan, but the keyboard is US English. We'll go to continue, and date and time, don't worry about it. The destination is what we mostly care about. So we're going to click on that, and it's going to think for a while, I think. Did I click on it? Oh, there we go. Alright, here is our disk. We want to automatically partition. We don't want to encrypt, and and that's all we want to do. That's the disk we want, so we'll click on done. This might give me sorry. Oh yeah, here we go. That disk was not clean, so it had stuff on it already, so it doesn't have any free space. So we're going to go down here and we're going to reclaim some space, and we're just going to get rid of everything on there. So how do I do that? Right here, delete all, boom, and did it do it? I don't want to preserve any of that. Alright, we're going to delete that, and we're going to select that. We're going to select that. We're going to delete everything in here. We want it all gone. This interface will drive you crazy. Sorry, my arm's getting tired. That's why the phone moves around. Try it. Here, hang on. Alright. Grab that. I don't want to oh, I'm a dork. They're already marked for delete. Alright, and done. Reclaim space. Click on reclaim space. And automatic partitioning selected. Keyboard we want to use is English US. English, and that's all we need for that. And time zone, we want to see if we can find America, Chicago. What does that say? America, Chicago. Am I good or what? And that's about the right time, so we're going to say OK for that, and we're going to begin installation. That's pretty much it. Now it goes and prepare. Now it's preparing to install, and this will run for about 10 minutes, and I'm just going to pause this for now. So you can see what it does. It creates swap space, it sets up the partitions, and then pretty soon it's going to copy all the stuff it needs to copy, and then I'll be right back when it comes when this gets done. Just a quick update. You can see how we're doing on our installing software at 48%, 50%, 51%. It's moving right along. I'm going to pause it. We'll be back when it gets to 100%. One thing I needed to show during the install, and we've installed everything now. We're making a NetRAM FS. During the install, you want to click up here and set a root password, and just make that happen during the install. In a normal Anaconda installation, you'd also create another user, but this is a Rev hypervisor appliance, so in this case we don't want to create a managed user, so just leave that alone. During the install, we click here, set a root password. Do not click here, don't do anything there, and then let's wait for a NetRAM FS to get done before we reboot this guy. Alright, I'm going to pause again. You can see now it's running post-installation scripts. Is that going to focus? Is focus going to get any better? There we go. We're running the post-installation scripts these are unique to RHV-H. So that this is when RHV-H runs it. This is where it sets all of its unique stuff up. I needed to mention one thing. Remember back in the initial installation when we set up that partitions. Now this hardware that I'm using, this box right here, this box has only one hard drive in it, and that and my data store is going to be an NFS share. I don't have any fiber channel or iSCSI or anything like that set up. In fact, let me show you. My data store is going to be a directory inside this 4 terabyte SATA mirror set. So on my DL380 G8 here. So I'm not. This is not a high performance data center by any means. Now, if you're setting your system up on, say, a fiber channel where there's a bazillion different LUNs and SCSI targets, you can use you remember how I looked at the partitions with Anaconda? You can do the same thing. You can look at your different devices and see which partitions are what, and that will help you make sure you're installing on the correct one. All right, we're going to pause again. These installation scripts are going to take a few minutes, and so we're just going to pause, and we'll be back in a minute. Right, we are complete. Look at that. That whole process took not quite 10 minutes. So we're complete, and we're gonna click on reboot right here. And while that's shutting down, I'm gonna pull the USB stick out. There's no possibility of booting from the USB stick, and that'll probably hang this thing. I'll probably end up having to power it on. End up having to power cycle it because I pulled its system drive out too soon. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I screwed it up. Okay, let's power cycle it. Right here. And power back on again. Yeah, anybody want to watch an HP ProLiant ML150 go through its post? May as well. It only takes a minute. There's the view of the outside under my deck. We're down in my basement here. I'll get you a faraway view while there's nothing else. Down in my basement here, we've got my setup on my high-tech shelves, boxes from, I forget even where half of these boxes came from, and most of those things on the floor are not even powered on yet, except for this one here that I use for backups. Alright, this is going to go through its post. It's going to boot from the hard drive. We're going to log in. If everything works smoothly, it's going to tell us that the file system and install looks okay. Which is new, by the way. That's new for Rev4. I like what they did with it. And you'll also notice the networking is different. There's no TUI anymore. So we set up networking on these RHEL systems the same way we've done on Fedora systems and RHEL systems forever. That's another good thing. Well, here we go. We're getting ready to boot this guy, and you're going to also like how fast this boots. Remember, this is based on RHEL 7 and System D, So all this stuff starts concurrently. Here we go. Yeah, don't worry about that. And there's our famous bar graphs across the bottom. I'm going to hit the... No, I'm not. I'm not going to touch it. The first one you see is just going to be pure vanilla. You can press the escape key on your keyboard, the escape key right there, and you can, if you don't like watching bar graphs, and then you can see what it's doing as it does it. But for this very first time for this video, we're not going to do that. And we should get to a login prompt here. Bam, there we are. And so, let's log in. Root. And not easy to type with your left hand. There you go. We're in, and look what we got here. Node status. As soon as that focuses it. Node, oh, this is new. Node CTL check for more information. Let's see what that does. This is new for 4.1. NODECTL space CHHECK. We like it when it's all green OKs. All right, we've got us a good RHV-H host. Now the next thing is we go set up its networking, and we'll connect to it with Cockpit. All right, let me pause this for a minute. I'll show you what we do. This is where we get into stuff that's specific to the hardware. Look closely. I did an IP address show, and look at there are in fact 3 physical NICs in this hardware. 2 are on the motherboard, and 1 is an add-on NIC. Look at the MAC addresses right here, and right here, and right here. These 2 are the motherboard ones. See how the first section is the same? Those have to be the motherboard ones, and they're 1 digit off. This one is the add-in card. So what we're going to do, I'm going to use this one for my people network, people network, and I'm going to use this one for storage, and we'll keep this one in reserve for other stuff. Okay, let's pause. That's how we'll do this. We'll do a before and after view. All right, I just did a couple commands here. The configuration scripts are in etc sysconfig network scripts, just like any normal rev. And let's look at what IFCFG ENP2S0 looks like. Notice the boot protocol is DHCP. We're going to change that to static. And down here, on boot equals no. We're going to change that to on boot equals yes. And then we're going to add 3 lines to the bottom. So let me pause this. I'll do my text editing with VI. VI is a horrible editor, but that's what comes with it. We're going to do our text editing with VI, and I'll show you what it looks like when I get done. I know VI is a popular text editor, and a lot of people love VI. I'm not one of them. Here's what our IFCFG ENP2S0 looks like now. Boot protocol is static, see right there. And on boot equals yes, and we've given it a broadcast and an IP address, net mask, and a network. Just the standard parameters that we always give it. My internal network is 10.10.10/24. And my RevM is 10.10.10.40, my beta RevM, and so there's how we set that up. And my hosts are going to be .41, .42, and .43. So Rev A will be .41. If I decide to use Rev B, that'll be .42, and Rev C over here. Rev C is a little different. Rev C is an old ML330. That will be .42 if I decide to go that way. Alrighty, now here's the what do we want to do? IF up ENP 2S0. Boom. And let's see. Ping 10.10.10.1. Well, I still have to do some work, I see. All right, we'll be back. All All right, let's see if I got it right this time. We looked. This is IFCFG ENP7S0. I think what I did was I just picked the wrong NIC out of the list. Like I said, this is hardware, and it's always a guessing game which one's the right one. So I edited ENP7S0. Boot protocol equals static, and I gave it the IP address information and a couple new things I forgot about before. Because this is the network manager style, we'll put the gateway right here, 10.10.10.1. That's my default gateway. And we'll also give it a DNS address. And now let's see if we can IF up ENP7S0. See what we got here. Beautiful. And let's see if we can do our pings. Right there. Oh, we like it when a plan comes together. Look at that. Do we have DNS? Ping www.google. And we have DNS and routing and stuff like that. Well, all right. We don't have routing yet, but we got basics of networking, and that's all we need. We can do the rest through Cockpit. Yeah, well, we do have routing, we just don't have DNS yet. Alright, no big deal. We can do the rest through Cockpit. I'm going to do one more thing for you here. Let's reboot it. Since I've changed the network parameters, let's reboot it so that everything starts up fresh. And this time, we'll hit the escape key so you can see what happens as it's booting. And then the rest we can do through screenshots with Cockpit. Yeah. Aren't we glad the fans don't run full blast all the time? Okay, here we go through another post cycle. Isn't that special? We like staring at black screens because, you know, nothing else better to do. Is there anything else exciting I can show you in my Rube Goldberg lab here? Not really. Here we go. Finishing up our post. And yep, there's our whole boot business. And let's hit the escape key when these bar graphs start. Right about now. Yeah, there. That's everything starting up. Okay to everything. See that? Hit the escape key and you can see all that stuff go along. All right. If that all worked right, we should have DNS, ping. I wonder if we have command recall. Oh, we do. We have command recall. Ah! Well, all right. All right, well, ping 216.160.2.158. That's the outside of the DSL router. Yeah, we've got routing, we just don't have any DNS. IP ADDR show. Typo. Try that again. Where'd you... Right there. Get rid of that, and that, and that there. And ENP7S0 7S0 has the correct address. And I gave that to ENP2S0, but that's wrong. That 10.10.11 needs to go to ENP4S0. That's where the storage stuff is going to go. But we're good enough. We can get to it now via cockpit, and you can see it across the network now. Thanks for putting up with me.